Hey everyone, Becky from Week 99er here. So I am bringing a fun recipe to you today that can be used for Halloween or for fun kind of get-togethers, and this is inspired by the movie Don't Worry Darling. This movie is hitting theaters this weekend and it's a little bit creepy and everything's just a little bit off. So what we're going to make today are some cinnamon rolls that actually look like intestines, which is kind of cool and kind of creepy all at once. So here is everything you need to make this recipe. I will put the full description below with the amounts that you need, but it is a very simple gluten-free cinnamon roll recipe. One of the key things for this recipe though is that it can be put in a 9 by 13 glass dish, or I used a quarter sheet pan and it kind of looks like a medical dish, so it kind of added a little more to that kind of creepy feeling there. But it's a really quick recipe that you can put these ingredients together and it makes a dough that's nice and quick and easy, and it's probably one of the best gluten-free doughs for making something like this that is super smooth, super easy to work with. So first off, you put all of the dry ingredients into your stand mixer and make sure that they are well combined once you have everything in there. That's it. We're not going to do a pre-proof, and that's because the dough is so thick and gooey that it's kind of hard to do a pre-proof with the gluten-free dough. Now this recipe is great because if you don't have to be gluten-free, you can use regular all-purpose flour and make this recipe, or you can just go and pick up some pre-made cinnamon rolls and pop the can, put them in the thing, and make this nice and quick for breakfast, for a party, or any of that. So it's really simple. Once all of the dry stuff is mixed together in the bowl, then it's perfect time just start adding in the butter, and which is room temperature butter, mind that. Make sure that it's nice and soft, and then you're going to start adding in the wet ingredients as well. Part of the dry ingredients we actually put in the yeast right with the dry ingredients. Like I said, we're not going to do that pre-proof, so we're not going to worry about it being mixed in water or doing any of that ahead of time. It's just as simple as mix and go. Okay, now once we incorporate the rest of the wet ingredients, everything will start to pull together, and you're going to notice that dough pulled away from the side of the bowl. Super easy, super quick. And that's about it. You might have a little water left back in your measuring cup. I didn't. I needed it to get the right texture of the dough, but it's going to depend on the type of flour that you're using for this. Super quick and easy, and just like that, it's ready to be worked. Now you take the dough from the mixer once it is fully incorporated, put it on a floured surface. I use our counter. I make sure everything is nice and sterilized and sanitized. I put down some of the gluten-free flour right on the surface so nothing sticks to it, and then you sprinkle a little bit on top, and then you can knead it in so you get that super smooth texture that you want. It makes it nice and easy to roll out. So with that, I am going to say when I roll things out, you're going to notice things aren't exactly square. And that's just kind of normal when I do baking, but we're doing this from scratch. And one thing you're going to notice is that is not going to be that big of a deal when you are making these, because it doesn't have to be super precise. Once you get everything nice and smooth, you're going to cut this dough into two separate pieces. That means that you can work half at a time and you don't have to worry about everything all at once. So I do put it to the side and I cover the other half with a tea towel just so it stays nice and moist and we don't have to worry about it losing any of the elasticity that we actually have worked into it. Now you have to roll it out into that square shape that you need to so you can actually roll it into the cinnamon rolls that we're going for. If I was going for more traditional shaped cinnamon rolls, I would be more concerned if this was actually rectangular or not, but you're going to notice the final shape. It doesn't matter that much. Now, we do also have the little bit of resistance because we are using a gluten-free dough, so things are not going to be as perfect and as precise as using regular bread flour or anything with gluten mixed into it. So what you're going to notice is after everything is kind of rectangular here, again, I said it's not going to be perfect, you're going to put some of softened butter on the inside and you're going to sprinkle each of these with brown sugar and cinnamon to give the traditional kind of cinnamon roll filling, the thing that we're used to a cinnamon roll having. So we're going to still have that flavor. Everything's going to taste normal. It's just not going to look normal when we're done. And you're just going to smooth that on as best as you can. And like I said, this dough is extremely easy to work with. So compared to other gluten-free dough, we didn't have any tearing, anything like that. So you're going to keep doing this and make sure everything is filled. Leave about 1 inch on either end and on the far ends. We are going to cut off those extra parts if we need to, but we are going to kind of just use them for part of the intestines as we go. Make sure everything's patted down, and then sprinkle your cinnamon right on top, and then you're going to start rolling it into a log. You're going to start from the short end and roll it towards the other side. I had a little bit of difficulty of one side sticking, so I ended up rolling it from the other end. And then you're going to do the same process with the other one as well, or the other half of the dough that you have sitting underneath that towel. And once it's all done, you're going to set them both aside, and we're going to get ready to assemble everything. It's pretty simple from this point on. You've done the bulk of the work, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see I've got some raggedy edges there, and I'm not too worried about that. So you can see I have my 2 logs sitting in the background, and I'm going to take each one and start slicing it like I would a regular cinnamon roll. I'm going to cut each one into about 6 to 8 different 2-inch rolls. But unlike regular cinnamon rolls, I am not going to put them in nicely. I'm going to start putting them out and kind of unrolling and undoing that some, and make that kind of erratic pattern inside this pan. Again, this is a 9 by 12, I want to say. It's a quarter sheet pan. I will put a link below if you want to get one of these. Like I said, you can use one of those 9 by 13 casserole dishes, that's what they're called, and you can fill that up and do it the more traditional way. But I liked the look of this pan, so I thought it was a great way to do this. And you just kind of keep unrolling them and kind of linking them together, and we're just going to keep repeating that with both rolls until it's all done. And then you're just going to do something really simple. You're going to put a piece of plastic wrap over the top and let it rise. And like I said before, we didn't do the initial rise with these because of the dough and everything in there, but the main rise is what we're going to need, so it has a little more shape and definition to it. Since it is gluten-free, we're not going to get the same type of rise we would with traditional gluten flour, but we are going to get some rise out of it. So this is going to be an hour, hour and a half. We're going to let that sit somewhere warm, and you can see after that time, it just kind of puffs up just a little bit more, about doubles in size, and then we just peel off that plastic and pop it in the oven at 350 for 25 minutes, and then let that come out, and look how beautiful that intestines look. So right now it looks a little weird and jangly, but that's okay. Now to make our topping, we take about 1 cup of powdered sugar and about a tablespoon of milk, and you put that in. As you can see, right when you pour it in, it starts instantly becoming the regular traditional topping that you put on top of cinnamon rolls. You can add a little more if you want to make sure it's nice and thick. I wanted it kind of runny, so when I poured it over, it just kind of oozed into it like you would expect blood to do. So I had to add a little more color, but mixing it up, we did get some great kind of bright bloody red kind of topping that we could add on top of our cinnamon rolls. Now you can see we just basically drizzled it right on top and let it kind of fall into the crevices. Everything is kind of erratic here, and it was kind of fun watching it kind of go in. I didn't quite get the coverage that I wanted, so I ended up taking the pan and tipping it so everything kind of poured. And you can see as it kind of runs down into the different parts, it kind of starts looking more like blood, but it also kind of fills in more spaces. So it was a lot of fun kind of doing that and letting things just kind of fall all over. So I did let things sit after this. And then all you have to do is cut it up and enjoy it. So that's it. This is how you make some cinnamon roll intestines. And again, this was inspired by the movie Don't Worry Darling. This movie is hitting theaters this Friday the 23rd, and everything is nice classic 1950s, but something's off. And there's even a twist in the movie that I'm not going to spoil for you, but you won't see coming. So that's it. Let me know if you guys make this. If not, that's okay, but let me know what you think of the movie when you go and see it. So let me know what you think of our cinnamon rolls.